Hello and welcome to Caged Cat, and today I want to talk about Plants vs. Zombies 2 and what I think Plants vs. Zombies 2 should do. So basically, if you don't know, Plants vs. Zombies 2 is the sequel to Plants vs. Zombies. You know, a game I play both Plants vs. Zombies and Plants vs. Zombies 2 in this channel. I just don't play them as often as games like Roblox, even though I'm actually starting to get really bored and sick of Roblox at this point. Because, I've been playing it for such a long time and there's like no new unique ideas for games. It's kind of making me bored. Or even then, even when there is a unique game idea, like, it just gets boring. But yeah, it's just something I don't like, so. But today we're playing Plants vs. Zombies 2. We're not playing it, we're talking about how to mechanically fix the game. So basically right now, there are some problems with the game. What I mean is the fact that basically this is the problem with Plants vs. Zombies 2, or some of the things I feel like are kind of like slowly killing the game that I think could make, or I'm going to suggest some things to make it better, or even some new features that would be cool. But yeah. Anyway. So yeah. Basically, some of the problems I find with Plants vs. Zombies 2, it's kind of need to go into the history of the game, even though it's like a time travel game, so that's kind of funny to say, but yeah. So the first problem I kind of find with the game is that the game was pretty good. When it launched, it was very good. And then they had this, but it was like actually the world's weirdly when they launched, it was only ancient Egypt. Like you could go from like it was like a split path in the world, so you can go from like in some levels where they had a level gate instead of just the world keys. There's also like level keys and stuff. And that's why most of the planes are locked behind these gates, and then they just decided, like, you know what, we're just making it all like one path, which is much more simpler and kind of nicer at the same time, too. And on top of that, also, and they started releasing newer worlds. So the first world they released was Ancient Egypt, and Pirate Seas, and, like, Wild West, and then it was Far Future, and that's kind of when I took a break from the game, and then kind of came back, and those tons of new worlds and stuff. But yeah, this save is my actual original save on the game, by the way, that I'm playing on. I've transferred it up from so many different. I've transferred up from my original device to my phone and my iPad, and actually I can date on my phone and then bring it up to my iPad, so it's really cool. But yeah, but one of the problems I found, the cool things I found about the game is there was there's two boss levels in every world. The first one and the second one. The first one's basically lost all purpose, is one of the things I've seen. Originally, the first one would have a special soundtrack. The first boss level will have a special. They're special because basically they're really hard. They're basically the conveyor belt levels of the first conveyor. Only they're conveyor belt levels. And on top of them being conveyor belt levels, they're also you don't have any lawnmowers, and basically it's like. And the music there's a special soundtrack in these levels called Ultimate Battle, which is actually funny because it has the same name as the soundtrack from Plants vs. Zombies 1 that plays on World 1, level 10, like the final level of World 1. And yet it's a completely different soundtrack because technically the notes are like in a completely different order. But the thing is that every single world had its own Ultimate Battle in Plants vs. Zombies 2. The thing is, though, is you can actually play all of the Ultimate Battles in Plants vs. Zombies 2 on top of each other, and it's still the same song. Including the one thing though is about Ultimate Battles is in the Mixtape Tour didn't get Ultimate Battle because of the fact that the music actually buffs certain types of zombies, so to make that level harder, they made it so basically instead of having the Ultimate Battle, they have their own, all the normal music plays, but the normal music buffs the zombies, so yeah. What they could have done honestly is make the Ultimate Battle music buff, the Mixtape Tour buff every zombie type, but if that existed. But still. Anyway. But yeah. Anyway, so another thing about these levels that made them special was those world keys. Once you beat like these are the halfway point of the worlds. So basically, you have all the pretty good noobish plants of that world, or the weaker plants, and the first half, and the second half will have the stronger, more powerful stuff. And on top of that, you also get a world key when you beat the first level. Boss level, which would give you basically access to the next world, another world in the game. You can choose whatever world of what you wanted, or you can continue going on and eventually beat Zomboss and then beat the world fully. Then they added the third portion of the world on, and another Zomboss fight, and also adds new zombies every world. And these are like the super tough levels, and they require you to level up your plants, which is a new mechanic at the time. That was also cool. but then they made the first level not as unique. And eventually they removed the Ultimate Battle soundtrack and also the demonstration mini game, which is the music that plays in the tutorial levels and stuff. Both of these soundtracks are probably the most favorited soundtracks of the game, and yet they got removed for storage. Because at the same time, they're adding so many premium plants into the game because they weren't adding any new worlds. And, that's another problem I see. Because now they're literally making zombies for worlds that don't exist. So I mean, it's like there's Roman zombies in the game, and also there's Z-Tech zombies as well, I think that's what they're called, or Z-Corp, I don't know what they're called. But there's also those types of zombies. You're even going to see a few in the game, like there's literally one on the screen right now. The thing about these zombies is, however, is that they don't have their own world. But they're like, there's a whole set of them, but there's no world for them. And the Roman ones make actual sense to get their own world. But yeah. Which is kind of sad to honestly see. But here's honestly what I could see in PvZ2 to fix itself. And on top of really no different battles, they also made all the world keys to just get all the world keys right away. So there's no progression in the main storyline because they wanted to get to pretty strong and then be able to do the arena and Penny's Pursuit mode, but you need to level up your stuff, and that you basically cannot do that, and it kind of breaks the progression of the game. What I would first off do is re-add all the ultimate battles and battle and demonstration minigame soundtracks back into the game, because they kind of need to. They're just really good. And on top of that, and then also make it so all of the halfway point, the first I would say, boss level of the world, which is like which don't have the ultimate battle. There's no zombies, so it's just like a horde of zombies that are really strong, like I said before. Make it so you also get the world key back again in those levels. But they wouldn't like what you say, and yeah. The next thing I want to mention is, did you know there's a Chinese version of Plants vs. Zombies 2? Which is like, in China, there's actually companies that'll take American games and make them so they're available to play in like a Chinese environment, because China has different laws and stuff. And so like, I think it was EA or PopCap, one of the two. Actually, the Plants vs. Zombies in China is completely different. Like, they'll have some of the same games, but there's complete major differences. Like, Plants vs. Zombies 1 has an extra world in China, which is like a super tough challenge world. But yeah. Anyway, so what I'm trying to get at here is this. So, Plants vs. Zombies 2 in China actually has some of the same worlds as American versions, but different versions. So, like, one of the things I was trying to say before is that in China, basically, American companies will give access to IPs to another company so they can make it so they're available for like, basically people to actually play in China. But at the same time, modify a little bit. What we don't play Zombies 2 in China is the fact that it has its own worlds. Like, I'm not joking. It has the same worlds as PvZ2, some of the same worlds, but the PvZ2 Chinese version has different worlds, let's just say. Like, they all have ancient Egypt. Most of them share a few of the same worlds. Well, they also have completely different worlds. Which specifically, I don't think they have Dark Ages, Big Wave Beach, or Neon Mixtape Tour. But in their place to get the Kung Fu world, they get a Steam Ages, which actually, for some reason, blends really well with the Frostbite Cave soundtrack. So, both the Ultimate Battles blend really well together for some reason. And then you also have Sky City, and that world is it has so many cool and unique mechanics that I've never seen in an American Plants vs. Zombies game. So the Kung Fu world, I haven't really seen that much gameplay of it, or the Steam Ages world, but I have seen some gameplay of Sky City. Basically, there's only, there's like, in Plants vs. Zombies, how there's Big Wave 2, there's Big Wave Beach, and there's the water portion of the level. Well, in Sky City, you only have 3 tiles to plant your own plants on, and you just have, the rest of it is just skyway flying plants on it. Yeah, there's water plants in PvZ 1 and 2, but there's no flying plants in PvZ 2 in the American version, so what I would do is honestly add these 3 worlds to PvZ 2 in the American version, and then on top of that, just fill the Rome world and the Z-Corp world, or Z-Tech, whatever it's called, and the zombie set is, for these new zombie sites, and then they can have their own worlds, and even because there's a lot of plant ideas that the creators of PvZ 2 have, but they never get added. Like what I mean is they have so many zombie plant ideas, but they always get added as premium plants. I feel like they just want to start making new worlds, but they can't really. I don't know why. But yeah, the 2 new world ideas plus the 3 Chinese worlds make 5 new worlds up in the Plants vs. Zombies 2, which I think would bring, right now is 11 worlds plus the 5. That's 16 worlds that will be in the game. And then what they could do is make it so the keys reappear in the game. Like what I mean is you don't get them all at once. So you only get one from being part of it for Ancient Egypt. Or how about you get two instead? And every time you beat a boss level, you basically get one key, or you can watch it add to get another one for the world keys. So you can't technically speedrun and do like a challenge for the game like you played normally, or you can be like, if you're a first time player, you can actually get all access to all the worlds by watching ads. Oh, but yeah. Anyway, you can see on the weird imp thing that Frozen Gargantua was for some reason. But yeah. Anyway, I honestly wish Plants vs. Zombies 2 is like I said before, like these are the things I kind of want to see in the future of the game. Is like, first off, like we had the Ultimate Battles and demonstration mini game soundtracks. Make it so add like 5 new worlds. 3 of them are actually in existence, they just don't exist in the American version of the game. 2 new worlds. They feel like the new zombie types that we just aren't always shown in the game, which means new plants and stuff. And I think just doing those 2 things alone, adding the Chinese worlds and also fixing like the key system and Ultimate Battles and stuff, would really, really fix the game, make the game much better. I think right now, or even just making it so you have to earn the keys from every world, or watching from ad, I think would just fix the game currently. But adding the new worlds and stuff, and even adding some of the Chinese worlds to the game, I think would. And I know a lot of the American, like you'd say that the Chinese worlds wouldn't work with American players. They probably would. I would say Kung Fu pieces would really probably work because the Kung Fu Panda exists. Steam Ages, I could see people being able to handle that. And Sky City, people I think would really want to play. On top of like the Rome and the what's it called, the Z Corp world would work pretty well too into the game. But yeah. Anyway, I honestly wish that Plants vs. Zombies 2 is just a better game. Like Plants vs. Zombies Battle for Neighborville basically died because the thing is, Plants vs. Zombies is having this split personality problem. Plants vs. Zombies 1 didn't have it, but when they made Plants vs. Zombies 2, they started making the game more casual. They made the shooter games more competitive, and now when they're trying to finally merge the franchise kind of together. And so, all the games have references to each other in them. It doesn't really work anymore because, it's basically 2 different franchises at this point that share one game in them, which is the original. The thing is, Plants vs. Zombies, the original Plants vs. Zombies, hasn't had, an actual sequel for a while. Like, Plants vs. Zombies 2 is the first sequel, and Plants is actually, the first main series sequel, then Plants vs. Zombies 3 is the second. Plants vs. Zombies 2 isn't even on PC, besides unless you, use a mobile player gameplay, which means Plants vs. Zombies 2 actually think they should just release it on PC file. Just do that. That's the other thing I would do. And the last thing I would honestly do is, Plants vs. Zombies 3 is basically utterly broken because how casual they made it. If you understand what I mean. So, Plants vs. Zombies, I feel like it was really popular because it's a competitive tower defense game. They made competitive shooter games and casual tower defense games from the franchise. They basically, broke what made the franchise good. I mean, the shooter games a lot of people like, but I honestly still want to see a competitive Plants vs. Zombies tower defense game. And I feel like fixing those things to PvZ 2 would actually make maybe get some of the competitive players back into the game. And also make Plants vs. Zombies 2 just a better game in general. And eventually I could also see Plants vs. Zombies 3. I think they should utterly overhaul it like they did with Star Wars Battlefront 2 and make the game actually playable. Because right now it's just so casual and not broken. Basically, no one likes to play it. Even though it hasn't even released over half the world, which is kind of stupid in my opinion. In the art design, being 3D is okay, but the art design looks like a child's game. It just doesn't look good. They could have just made a 3D version of Plants vs. Zombies 2's art style, and people would have been happy. But yeah, this is the end of the video. Remember to like and subscribe to the Cage Cat on YouTube, and peace.